So as you know, I am Eli. I guess I'm just Eli now. Eli the guy. You know, I've gotten a couple of emails. Apparently my Eli the computer guy trademark has to be renewed in the next year or so. And I've actually thought about not bothering to renew it. I really do feel like Eli the computer guy is truly... I think it's come to the end of that particular road. But I don't know. What we're going to do right now is we're going to do a test of this brand new camera that I have. What is this camera? So this is the Sony HDR-CX675. So the only additions that I have to it is I do have a UV filter on there, which you should buy absolutely regardless. If nothing else, it just simply protects the lens of your camera. So I have that. I have my battery on there. I have my little Joby. I have like a little Joby tripod thing that I've connected it to. So I'm using the built-in microphone. So there's a 5.1 surround sound microphone that I'm currently using that's built into the system or built into the camera. I'm not using that additional add-on microphone just to see how it works out. So I figure we'll go out here, we'll wander around the yard, we'll play around with zoom and that kind of stuff and see how the quality of this thing is. Though I'm very hopeful, to be honest with you. I'm very, very, very hopeful because, as I've said before, I think the AX53 is just the best damn camera out there. AX53 is great. The only thing is it is quite a bit heavier and bigger than this particular camera. And so what's nice about this is that it's very lightweight. But look at that. So it has a 60x zoom. So that's pretty nice. And especially with the optical stabilization, because look at this, right? So this is no zoom. Right here is no zoom. And so again, this is all hand mounted. So I don't have this on a tripod. It's not sitting on the ground. So this is literally in my hand, and the optical stabilization is good enough. I can zoom in that far, and that, oh my God, you can actually see a bee. And that is not a blurry mess. Holy shit. I really do think this is a good camera. I mean, like, of course I knew it was a good camera, but I didn't quite think it was that good. I mean, like, look at that. Look at how far, that's 60x zoom, handheld, and it doesn't look like I'm like fucking spazzing out on crack cocaine. So that's pretty nice right there. I like that. Yeah, I do have to say, like the Sony cameras, again, it's always funny because people always call me an Apple fanboy. They're like, oh, Eli's an Apple fanboy. I honestly have to say that in reality, I am far more a Sony fanboy because I've really only used Sony cameras. Well, like I said, I had one relatively inexpensive Canon camera. But all of my cameras, whether the not so expensive ones or the expensive ones, have been Sony. And the reason is because they're just good fucking cameras. It's kind of sad to see what's happened to Sony. Like, because Sony produces really good... Sony does this weird stuff where some things they produce are just absolutely awesome. And then other things they produce just seem so half-assed. Like their cameras, all their cameras are great. But then, like, a lot of their computers are just very poor. Or like the thing where, you know, they're the ones to create mobile audio, right? Basically the Walkman and the Discman and all that kind of stuff. But then they've been totally, utterly trounced by the iPod or the iPhone. It's really weird. It's really weird how that goes with Sony. But I have to say, as far as cameras go, again, whether you have $250 to buy a camera, oh, look at that. There's a butterfly. Can you see the butterfly? I mean, look at this. Oh, come on. You got to say, that's going to be fucking awesome on the road. Oh my God, look at that zoom. Look at that. And this is handheld. This is literally handheld. Not tripod, not even monopod. This is just hanging out. My golly, that quality is good. So anyways, but yeah, Sony, if you're looking for any kind of camera, again, whether it's a $250 camera or a $1,000 camera or whatever else, I really would say take a look at Sony first because all the quality, again, all my cameras have been Sony and I've just been very happy with them as the generations have gone by. Now, obviously, some cameras are better than others, but, you know, time has gone by. I've been doing this. It's so weird to say. You know, I've been doing this for 8 years now. It's just amazing to see just how much the technology has improved over 8 years. So yeah, Yeah, I'm liking this so far. I'm liking this. The optical stabilization seems very good, especially its handheld. I mean, the fact that you can zoom in that far is just wacky as hell. That'll be awesome. Can you imagine, like, being out in Yellowstone or Yosemite or someplace, and there's some wildlife? I'll be like, look, there's a bear. And they'll be like, look at how close I am to that bear. You're like, you're not actually that close, Eli. Oh, but that's nice. But these are the things that you have to be thinking about. So I've been getting a lot of kind of like snarky comments on the whole thing about whether or not I am a professional. So a lot of people talk about like the difference between professional type hardware, professional equipment, and consumer equipment. And the big thing that I want you folks to be thinking about nowadays is just to realize how good all of this equipment is. And so the difference between professional and consumer, frankly, is not what it used to be. Now, again, I've been doing this stuff for 8 years. I remember when a $10,000 professional camera, just beat the crap out of a $1,000 like prosumer camera. Like my original camera was actually a $1,000 Sony camera. And if you looked at a $10,000 camera, I mean, the difference was just night and day. But one of the things to be thinking about now is that difference really and truly has disappeared. The difference between this is a $500 camera, for what you actually need it for, the difference between a $500 camera and a $10,000 camera may not be as significant as you think it is. And not only is it not as, oh, there's a deer over there. Oh, can we see a deer? Oh, deer's running the wrong way. Anyways, not only may it not be as significant as you realize, but what you might find out is that there's a lot of benefit to the $500 camera versus the $10,000 camera. So I talk about that with INE. So INE, paid me to go out and do those interviews like a year ago. And so they brought their videographer in, who did a really, really great job. But that was the thing. He brought in all of his professional equipment. And I mean, it made me really realize how much I did not want professional equipment. Because when he brought his professional equipment in, I mean, that was a lot of stuff. I mean, those $10,000 cameras are absolutely huge. I mean, those $10,000 cameras are really big. They're really heavy. And they're really expensive. So, you're talking about like a 20-pound camera on top of all of the audio equipment and everything else you need. You've got all of that cost. It's very hard to lug around. And so one of the questions to be asking yourself is that what you really need? Is that what's really required? Because right now, I mean, I have this little camera that literally fits in my hand. It costs $500, 1080p, 60 frame per second. The audio should be good. I imagine I was doing some testing before. And so that's where you have to be thinking about as a professional. Remember, professionalism just simply means you get paid for doing the job. Like there's this idea of professional equipment versus consumer equipment. But the reality is all a professional is somebody who gets paid for doing the work. So if the equipment that you use to get paid happens to only cost you $500 versus $10,000, that doesn't make your equipment necessarily any less quote-unquote professional. It makes it less expensive, not necessarily less professional. And why this matters, again, from a business standpoint, is you got to think about like cost and risk and liability. Liability is a huge issue in business. And so liability is basically the loss you take if something stupid happens. What happens if somebody robs you? What happens if you drop? Again, if you have a $10,000 camera and you drop it, which you're probably going to do at some point, that runs you into a lot of serious issues. If you have a $500 camera and you drop it, does it really matter? Right? You think about that like Linus Tech Tips, right? Linus Tech Tips is far more quote-unquote professional than me, right? So he went out, and you've got to think about this. So I have a $500 camera in my hand with a $15 thing. Like everything that I have in my hand is like $600, maybe with the extended battery at $700, right? So I have a $700 worth of equipment in my hand. If I drop this, it's not going to kill me, right? I got my pond here. If I drop it, oh, it's kind of funny. That's kind of cool. Like the optical stabilization is so good, I can't even like screw with you with dropping. It doesn't even look that bad. But anyways, let's say I dropped this into the pond, right? I could literally go back to Best Buy and just buy another one and not really care. I mean, my wife would probably be a little pissed off. But otherwise, other than dealing with a stupid argument with my wife, it really wouldn't matter. Whereas if you look at like Linus Tech Tips, and this is where you have to think about like with professional equipment, Linus Tech Tips just bought, he bought 2 8K red cameras. And as I recall from the video I watched when he was talking about it, that cost him $160,000. So essentially, you're looking at $80,000 a piece for those cameras. God help you if you drop one of those cameras. God help you if somebody steals one of those cameras. I mean, think about this, all right? You know, if somebody steals this camera from me, I'm going to be pissed off, obviously. But it's really not going to be that big a deal. If somebody stole an $80,000 camera, that would be like fucking catastrophic. Even if insurance covered it. Because I'd be like, well, you have insurance for that kind of thing. But even if insurance covered it, you'd have to go through the whole process. And then your insurance would probably get jacked up. It'd be a complete pain in the ass. If I dropped this thing in the pond or somebody stole it, again, it would be annoying, but it wouldn't really be that big a deal. And then you also have to think about things like what are the additional support costs for when you buy something. So the additional support cost for this is this has a micro SD card in it. So essentially, I pull the micro SD card out, I shove it into my MacBook Pro, and I upload the video onto YouTube. And I'm done. Eli's done, right? It's all done, right? Shoot the video, pop out the card, shove it into my MacBook Pro, upload it, and done. Again, if you look at how a professional does it, so Linus Tech Tips is a real professional with his $80,000 camera, that for 8K video, it burns what did he say? It burns a gig for every 3 seconds. Basically, it burns like 333 megs per second. So not only does he have to spend 80 grand for the camera, but then he's got to spend all the money for the storage arrays to deal with all the video files from the camera, and then he's got to deal with the editing computers that can actually handle 8K video that's that big, and you've got all of these additional costs going on. And that's something you have to think about. And again, for Linus Tech Tips, I mean, God bless, if that's what he wants to do. I mean, obviously, he does video different than me. He does a lot of editing and all that kind of stuff. But that's where you have to be thinking about, of like, what do you actually want out of your product? Do you need 1,000 jump cuts? Do you need like 8K video so that you can crop it just perfectly to the right area so that you still have 4K out of it? Do you need to do all of that stuff? Or do you basically just need to blather into a camera for a while and be able to upload it? Me personally, I just want to be able to blather into a camera for a while and be able to upload it. So these are the things to be thinking about. And it's important, right? Because I see a lot of people who want to be like YouTube content creators. And again, they get so, oh, look at that. They get so worried. They get so worried about all that professional equipment. And so they spend all that money. They spend stupid amounts of money on quote unquote professional equipment. But then they don't get around to actually doing the work. Look at that. That's handheld. That's so stable, and that's handheld. That's awesome. And that's where I try to show you folks, right? I know a lot of people treat me as a goof. A lot of people oh, look at Eli being stupid again. But this is one of the things that I try to explain is there's a reason that I show you folks all the stupid stuff. I show you folks all the stupid stuff so that you understand that that's part of the real world of being a professional, right? I could be like anybody else. I could edit all my videos so that I seem absolutely perfect, that I seem expert. I can edit out all the problems, but then that doesn't really help you folks out, right? I want to show you things like trying to use the iPhone 7 Plus and having it do a heat failure, right? I mean, think about that. I could have bought the iPhone 7 Plus, and I could have tested it, and it could have failed, and I could have sent it back, and I could have not done any videos or talked about it, and I could have made myself seem cool buying whatever perfect camera that I needed. But the reason that I talk about it is so that you folks get the idea. Ooh, mosquito. Die, mosquito. Damn it. Oh, look at this. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's art. It is art. I swear. Do not content, what is it? A community strike me. It is art, damn it. It is art. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. So you can go up here and look at little berries on the tree. Don't eat the berries. Those berries will kill you. But the autofocus is good. I say the stabilization seems to be awesome. I'll have to see how the actual video looks, but I do believe with that that UV filter on there, it should look really nice. I mean, just the fact that I can zoom in like this is just so amazing. Look at that. See a little butterfly bush, doing the butterfly bush thing. I can even move it. It's a little hard. When it's zoomed in that far, it's a little hard to move around. But I mean, not horribly hard. Oh, this is absolutely awesome. This is absolutely awesome. I think I have found my new vlogging camera. I was hoping for the eye. I really was. Yeah. Oh, look, there's a bunny. See, this is the kind of wildlife I'll be able to show you. I'll be able to like look at the exotic Reisterstown wildlife. Don't approach the exotic wildlife here. They might go into fight or flight response, and you never know. You never know if a bunny will fight you to the death. But look at that. My God, you can even see like little butterflies flying around. Holy shit. This is an awesome camera. This is my new favorite camera. This is my new favorite camera. I love Sony. I love Sony. I'm a Sony fanboy. You can call me a Sony fanboy anytime you want. You'd be like, Eli, you fucking Sony loving cuck. And I'll be like, give me a little bit of that Sony cuck. I love a good Sony cuck. Like, Eli, that's not what cuck means. I don't care. I'm taking cuck back. You want to call me a name? It's kind of like martial arts. Somebody tries to beat you with a weapon, and you grab it, and you start beating them with the weapon. And that's what I'm going to start doing with the insults. You try to throw a stupid-ass insult at me, I'm going to grab it, I'm going to beat you with the insult. Be like, yeah, call me a cuck? I'm fucking King Cuck. I'm King Cuck of the normies. Look at that. My fucking Christ, that is beautiful. This is what's amazing about technology. This is what's amazing. And again, this is why all the IT people out there, you see this? You see this? This is why you're fucked. See, I can turn anything awesome and tell you why it makes you fucked. Because look at this. I have all of this in my hand. This literally fucking cost me $500. This cost me an amount of money where if it fell in the pond, I would not have a heart attack. And I can just hold it in my hand. And that is the amazing part of technology nowadays. This technology is just so good anymore. And that's where I say that's the problem with the IT folks. And so many of these new IT people don't even get it. Where it's like, look, I'm able to record video of this quality. I'm able to upload it using a computer I've never had to wipe and reload onto a platform that I don't care about the power supplies of. And I'm sorry, where the hell are your jobs? This is where like, again, I get so pissed off with these. I get so pissed off with the people that get pissed off with me when I talk about the IT industry being dead for a lot of folks. Because it's just, where is your job at? You're not, I mean, the actual equipment works amazingly well. The actual equipment is relatively inexpensive. The platforms and everything that we use, they don't require you doing anything with the platform itself. So it's like, where the hell is it? And that's the big thing I want you to really understand. That's the big thing like I really want you to be thinking about. Is just because people need technology doesn't mean they need technology employees. Right? There's this idea, Eli, computers are not going to go away. Eli, platforms are not going to go away. But where is your job here? Look at what I'm able to do. Look at what I'm able to do. And I don't need an MCSE to do any of this shit. I don't need a CCNA to do any of this stuff. I don't need to know how Linux works. I just have a memory card in here, a micro SD card. I record to the micro SD card. I upload to YouTube, and I'm done. But anywho, that's a rant for another day. It's not a rant for another day. That's a rant that we should have every day. Because that's I think the biggest problem that I see in this modern world of all these noobs and all these people want to go out and do work is all these people want certification. All these people want jobs, but nobody wants to solve problems. Eli, I want to get paid for doing my job. It's like, yeah, but what practical problem are you going to solve? Eli, you're so stupid. Why is a smart person so stupid? It's like, you're so smart, but then you're a complete idiot. I didn't say I wanted to solve problems. I said I wanted a job. You're like, yeah, and you don't really grasp why this is a problem, do you? Society hasn't really grasped why it's a problem that people want jobs, but they don't want to solve problems. That they don't even realize that solving a problem is what they should be worried about. Anywho, this is just awesome. So there we go. We got a nice 20-minute test. I didn't want to drag this out for a little bit, make sure it doesn't overheat. That was weird with the iPhone Plus yesterday. It really was. I was sitting there, I was yabbering along. I was doing a good yabber. I was like 10, 15 minutes into it. All of a sudden, a heat failure. It's like, what the hell is that? That sucks. But this is cool. Like, I'm looking at it now, and like things to think about. So I've got a 64 gig card in here. And so a 64 gig card at 1080p, 60 frame per second. I've already been talking for 20 minutes. So I have 4 hours and 54 minutes left on this card alone. So a 64 gig card gives you at least 5 hours. And then I have like the Uber battery pack on here. It's an additional battery pack. It costs you however much. If you go to Best Buy, you can buy one. And that has like 3 hours of power in it. So this is cool for even like when I'm on the road, like even when I start camping, because that's one of the things I'm going to start doing too, is camping, just to be a little more economical, so you can relate to me. It's one thing I'm thinking about with these videos and with the whole failed normal redux, is when I do things, I want to be relatable. You know, it's one thing to like go to hotels or whatever, but if nobody can afford hotels, what good is that? Like the point of what I want to do in these videos, and my point has always been, I don't want you to be impressed with me. Again, that's where I get very frustrated. I don't give a shit if you like me, respect me. What I want is to get you off your ass, right? I want you in New Hampshire. That's what I want. And so that's what's interesting with this setup, because I've got at least 3 or 4 batteries. So let's say I take 4 batteries with me into the field. That gives me 12 hours of recording time. Then I take like 3 of these micro SD cards. I've got at least 3 of these. That gives me, what did I say, 15 hours of video. So why that's cool is I could go like on a backpacking trip. So I could go into the Smoky Mountains. I could go, wherever. I could go and actually be out for days at a time, and this would have enough resources to it to be able to record while I was gone and not have to deal with computer. That's one thing, like with the iPhone Plus, is like a little, again, you've got to figure out a situation. Like that was the one thing with that. I was like, is that, if I was away from computers, then you might run into a little bit of problems. The nice part with this is, again, 15 hour, yeah, so with the batteries, 12 hours of recording time from the batteries, 15 hours with the cards. Yeah, I could go out for like a week and record my entire fucking trip and literally not need a computer at all. That's cool. Now, how sad my wife would be if I leave for a week on a trip. That's going to be a discussion for another day. But I'm liking this. Anyways, so I've been talking for about 24 minutes now. I think that's a good first test with this thing. I like it. I really freaking do. If you like this, again, this is the HDR-CX675. I literally bought it at Best Buy today for $500, $499. I don't know why there is currently a $100 sale at Best Buy. So apparently this was supposed to be $600, not $500. I don't know why that is. Again, is there a new model coming out? Are they just doing a sale right now? If you like the quality of this, if you're like, wow, I would probably run over to Best Buy and buy one, because I don't know how long the sale will be. But anyways, it is hot out here. It's freaking hot and humid. Like Maryland, it is just, that's the thing with Maryland. It doesn't get horribly hot. It's not the heat. It's the humidity. But like in Maryland, it really is. It's like 80, it's ridiculous. It's like 80% humidity. It's like 85 degrees, right? 85 degrees isn't too bad. 85 degrees with 85% humidity, and you just start like sweating just from basically standing there. But anywho, that's just me whining a little bit. So stay tuned. If you like the videos that I'm doing, stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm gonna start doing the pivot. Start doing the failed normal redux pivot. I already see people canceling their subscriptions to Silicon Discourse. To be clear, you don't have to cancel your subscription to Silicon Discourse. Silicon Discourse is pivoting. It's pivoting. We're keeping crowdfunding. Somebody's got to pay me, and It's not sponsors. Ad revenue is not doing too well. So if you like what I do, if you look at my content and you're like, yeah, I don't mind keeping $5 a month going to this guy, please do not cancel your Silicon Discourse subscription quite yet. But yeah, things are going to be changing a little bit because I think this is the way to go. Because I've been looking at stuff. You're like, Eli. I'm like, no, I see the stats. I see the stats. I see the numbers. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand. Why is it people that do not have YouTube channels or have YouTube channels with 200 subscribers telling me what I need to do? Eli, what you need to do to make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. It's like, I'm sorry, how many subscribers do you have? Oh, 200? That's nice. I'll wait till that gets to like 200,000 before I start really listening to what you have to say. Because I'm just saying, if you only have like 200 subscribers, I don't see how you're giving me advice. I have that. I have one person just beating me over the head with advice. All these videos pop up, like when I do searches for myself. I do that to see what other people are saying, and then one person pops up telling me what I have to do. What Eli has to do is, and it's hilarious. Like I don't even know if this guy understands the irony. I don't even know if he understands how oddly funny it is to have somebody like go on and on, do multiple videos, like do like 4 videos talking about what I need to do. And those videos all have like 50 views each. And it's just like, I don't know what to say to that. It's like, your videos have 50 views each. I mean, they just have 50 views each. And you're telling me what to do. How does that work out? I don't understand. But anywho, now I'm just rambling to this point. So with that, we'll call it a day, and I'll see you folks in the next video.